Good day and welcome back to another Dbz Dokkan video. In this video we're going to take a look at how you can get 6,000 burst mode score using fusion characters in the Tech LR Vegito Blue burst mode. So basically it's a pretty straightforward burst mode, super duper, I guess simple. We've adjusted it slightly. You can see the modifiers that were up on screen, and we're focusing on having an AGL and physical based team. So a little bit different to what we used before. We used an int and physical team for the heavenly, strength and physical. Now we're using an AGL and physical, and there's a couple reasons for this. So firstly, a big reason is because of Gogeta. So Gogeta has guaranteed crits. We're going to prioritize that. In terms of the damage reduction, we're going to obviously reduce the damage received by the AGL units, but Vegeta will be fine just due to his natural high levels of damage. Then we're basically going to be relying entirely on the friend Rainbow LR Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, or Goku and Vegeta, who turns into Gogeta. So it's pretty much, how can I say, or how I want to say, a reliant team build upon that unit. They're going to do the majority of the damage. They're going to do the majority of the carrying here. We're going to be floating the free-to-play Gotenks. We're going to be floating the free-to-play Yamhan. Or Yamhan? Is it Yamhan? No, it's Yam. The fusion of Tien and Yamcha, I believe. So yeah, he's definitely, or Tien and Gohan, or Yamcha and Gohan. Who is this? No, this is Tien. Anyway, we're gonna be using him. He's gonna be floating. We're gonna have two rotations. We're gonna have the physical LR 3rd year anniversary unit. They're going to be obviously sitting alongside the AGL Gogeta. And then we're going to have the Super Saiyan 4 units alongside Weirus. Now, if you don't have Weirus, you're going to want to look for any kind of strong second slot fusion unit. Maybe you want to use your own copy of the 3rd year anniversary LRs. That will also be fine. But yeah, because or maybe you have your own copy of the Super Saiyan 4s and you want to just switch things up, that's what you're going to need to do. You're going to need to just switch in someone quite strong there to be a strong second slot carrying option overall. You can also use the Chaozu crossover category character as well. That's also a decent shout out. But yeah, it's going to depend a bit on what your box looks like. I would suggest the physical unit to try and fill up that slot and just give you a little bit more leeway. Weirus is definitely the best choice due to his orb changing, but if you can't use him, try and find a pseudo replacement. Whether you're using double SS4s maybe is an option, or you can maybe consider using the Chow Man, also a decent option. And yeah, it was Yamhan. Why is it Yamhan? Oh, because it's Tien Shinhan. There we go. So yeah, either use that or maybe SS3 Gotenks is a decent option to slot in there. Depending on how many dupes you have of him, it's probably the next best bet. So yeah, that's it. It is pretty straightforward. Pretty relatively simple. And yeah, just a really straightforward process overall at the end of the day. So not too concerned once you have the rotation set up. It was actually quite a strong lineup. Obviously, if you get supered on Yamhan or on the like fat Gogeta, I guess is the correct term to use for him. Gogeta body type, not skinny or ripped or whatever it is. But yeah, he basically, essentially you can run it like that, and that might be ideal for you. Or alternatively, you can look at obviously, changing up your rotations as need be. But I think for the most part, sticking to what I've shown here is pretty much your best bet. In terms of AGL options outside of these units, I don't really suggest too much. Maybe Super Vegito is a solid enough option if you want to use him. Or sorry, you can't use Super Vegeta. I meant the AGL Gotenks is a solid-ish enough option if you want to. But yeah, outside of that, I wouldn't say there's any distinct other changes you could make. This team seemed to run well enough. You can switch up to strength. There are some decent strength fusion options. You've got the strength Gogeta. If you've easy 8 him first, it's going to make your life a bit easier. You've also got Barlot, and you've also got well, that's really about it. But you can, I guess, switch to strength. The strength, the power of the strength Gogeta is probably going to be what carries you the most there. So that is possible. It's just not as ideal. It's not as ideal, at least in terms of like outputs and everything. So yeah, but beyond that, that's basically it. So what you're going to do is you're going to want to stack with the Super Saiyan Gogeta or Super Saiyan Goku and Vegeta unit as much as possible, so that you can obviously have them have a pretty high defense. You're going to then transform them, generally speaking, only when you're facing the tech Vegito. That's probably the next best bet. And then from there, you're probably going to look at maybe using their active skill if you do manage to get it. Ideally, also try to be careful of the orbs you pick up. It's more ideal, obviously, to try and pick up orbs, to save the Dokkan attack for the tech Vegito phase. Like generally, if you can open up the tech Vegito phase with the Dokkan attack, that's more ideal. It is going to depend, obviously, on how your orb pickups go, but yeah, generally speaking, it should be fine, at least from my perspective. You can see here that things do get pretty tight. It is a pretty tough one. Even Gogeta, or the third year LRs, they take a lot of damage from a super. You do need AGL Gogeta to build up his super attacks. Make sure he's constantly stacking. He's gonna need, definitely rely on his evasion if you're gonna stick him in the first slot. If he gets hit by a super, he's gonna take a very big chunk of damage. But yeah, there's obviously lots of things to consider, but generally speaking, you do get things done, and you do tend to come out looking okay when it comes to the end of it. So yeah, pretty simple. As you can see, we saved the active skill from Gogeta, obviously to finish him off, and also our health fell below the threshold. So we're just going to pop that and end him up, and yeah, that's it. Vegeta did a lot of the heavy lifting. So you can rely on him a little bit. It's mainly just making sure that you don't get supered on the other units. These surprisingly didn't result in me having a lot of redos or resets. Actually, honestly, was pretty straightforward, these ones. So, well, this fusion one. So yeah, I even actually did it twice because the footage I did for the first one got corrupted. So it was actually pretty straightforward. But outside of that, yeah, bye.